Yo, welcome back to your slab programming tutorial, C programming to be precise. Alright, so last time we saw how to print an integer, but do you know how to receive an integer from the user? For the example, the way it is done with the calculator, probably you press 1 and you see 1 being displayed. We are going to learn how to receive an integer from the user. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save my document as receive int. Alright, the other one was display int, so it's a .c file. So just gonna have my skeleton here. I got that, you should have that. If we have that, you are good to go. Alright, so in a similar way, not when the pause ended, in a similar way, the way we initialize a variable and give it a value, we're going to do the same initialization of the variable, but we're not going to give it a value because you actually don't know the value to be given to it, since we want a value from the user. So we are simply going to do int a. Alright, that's a variable name. And to receive an integer from the user, how do we know once we receive an integer? Because we have int. So let's display a message first, which actually tells the user what we want the user to do. Alright, so I have a printf statement. Please do not forget your semicolons, else 3/4 of your programming life is gone. Printf, please input an integer. I'm going to make this big because some users will see integer and will read it as character. Trust me, it has happened before and it will keep happening and happening. So let's just take the \n. Alright, now because of our amazing standard input output header file, praise God, we have what we call a scan function. Now the scan function basically takes input from the user, and the syntax or the format is really easy. So we have scanf. So an integer is specified by %d, and to show us which value we want to store in the scanf, alright, which in the variable a, we'll just do comma and a. Alright, remember when displaying you don't do the and ampersand, you don't do that ampersand. This is called the ampersand. You don't do that, but in the scanf that's the syntax we follow. So when that is done, let us save. Alright, then let's try to print out the variable. Right, so printf, we're going to print it out, and let's write it in the form of a text. You inputted input. Let's use inputted. Inputted sounds right. Alright, look, maybe inputted doesn't sound right. Alright. You typed in number %d. Alright, \n, and what is %d? Is the variable name a. Okay, so let's save that, compile that. Please, no errors, fingers crossed, boom, no errors, thank God. So let's run that. Now you see please input an integer, because we wrote please input an integer, and if an integer is 90, and I press the enter key, you typed in number 90. Alright, so that is simply it. We have told the user to input an integer, we have allowed made availability of receiving the integer with the scan function, and we displayed the integer and put a little text to it just to make it look nice. Alright, now let me explain something very vital to you. Most CSE students at your level would just be like, okay, printf is to display, scanf is to take input. You're right, but some of you who don't understand, I'm going to make it really easy for you. Okay, you have a printf function, which is practically what you see. Okay, what you see is what you get. So I can tell you that, hey, I want you to mop the floor. I want you to mop the floor, and you'll be like, okay, and then you practically do not mop the floor, and I'm like, why haven't you mopped the floor? And you're going to tell me error, no bucket, no water, no mop. Alright, probably no floor. That's absurd, but that's practically the printf. The printf is telling you see everything. Okay, you can get the instruction, but in the scanf function, if the availability is not made, then the printf statement is just a printf statement. Alright, so you have a printf statement the print function. I don't even know why I'm saying printf statement. The print function, you have the print function saying that okay, do this, do that. All you see is text, text, and text. All this is to display. Meanwhile, the scan function is used to actually get input. All right, it's used to actually make things happen. So you can talk and talk and talk, but if the availability is not there, then oh boy, you're doomed. All right, so that is how we can actually take input from a user. Now you can take more than one input, so I'm going to show you. Probably let's take another input. Let's just come up here to our int a and do comma b. Now we have initialized two variables, right? We have initialized two integer variables a and b. That's how we do it. If I build this, it's going to give me a warning. Now, and I like to pinpoint at this stage in time the difference between an error and a warning. All right, so an error is practically yo, stop, you cannot go further. A warning is like be careful. All right, when you inquire an error message, you cannot run your program, but when you inquire a warning, you can run, but it's telling you that there's probably going to be something wrong somewhere. All right, so you have a warning down here. Warning number 2.11.4 local b is not referenced. What does it mean? Meaning the variable b is not referenced. It's a local variable, it's not referenced. So but I could still run this and input that 7, and you typed in. Did I spell typed correctly? No, I did not spell typed correctly, my bad. You typed in number 7. That's what was displayed a while ago. So I'm going to actually give the availability to input another integer. So please input an integer. So I probably want to do this. Copy this. Really quick tip. It's not a bad habit, but it's going to help you a lot in your advanced level GCE practicals. You should learn how to copy and paste. Yes, you don't have to write printf. You don't have to type it yourself 10 times. You have a copy, Control C or Command C. I don't know if your school uses Mac computers, so you're probably going to use Command C, but I doubt. No offense. Although I don't really bother if you take offense to it. Control C copies, Control V will paste it. Okay, so you should learn how to copy and paste. It makes work go faster. And please, an advice, or only copy and paste when you know the syntax. Alright, I can copy and paste 10 times closing my eyes because I know that hey, this is where a semicolon is supposed to go, my quotes are supposed to be open and closed here, and this is where I'm supposed to use the ampersand. Okay, so if you're familiar with it, copy and paste. But if in your GC hall you're still not familiar with it, copy and paste. So I'm going to write input another, because I want it to make sense, another integer, and this time it's going to be integer b. Okay, so I typed in you typed in numbers %d and %d. Okay, so comma a comma b, because I have two format specifiers, so I need to make it to make sense. Compile, and oops, that was debugging. Please do not go there. You run input an integer 3, input another integer 2. You type in numbers 3 and 2. Now you see the order 3 and 2. It comes a first, then b. Because of this, I said a, then b. So if I was supposed to do b and b, okay, it's going to show me the two values of b. No questions asked. 1 and 5. You type in numbers 5 and 5 because b is 5, and yeah, I said b and b. Okay, so actually what you type is what you see is what you get. Okay, please, what you see is what you get is actually an acronym, WYSIWYG here. So you might be asked that in your paper too. It's W, what you see is what you get, WYSIWYG. Yeah, some of us didn't know till we knew. Okay, shout out to Regine Cyril. Okay, so we save that and we've compiled it, and we'll see that it works perfectly fine. So we have our variables, two integer variables, and we're like user, please input an integer, and I input the integer. I'm like, input another integer. Okay, I'll input another integer, and then it displays I've entered these integers. All right, so that's really cool, that's really marvelous. From there we can go ahead to do really cool arithmetic operations in them. So I will see you in the next video. Please do come to the next video. All right, slap out.